The Manila Times. Lights, camera, Boto, the chat show edition.
Rise and shine mga ka-voters, it's a beautiful morning full of hope for the future. Ito po si Tessa Mauricio Ariola, welcoming you to the Manila Times Lights, Camera, Boto, the chat show edition. With May fast approaching, we are as dedicated as ever in LCB to help one another make the right choices in the coming elections. So as we carry on in spotlighting not just the personality but the platforms of Halalan 2022's candidates, we can promise you that this is always where entertainment leads to empowerment. Ready na ba kayo mga ka-voters? Let's get started right now.
The Manila Times. Lights, camera, Boto, the chat show edition.
After episodes bringing our co-voters candidates from Luzon to Visayas, we return to the national level today, this time to spotlight a very young and determined option for the Philippine Senate. Turning just 44 before the month is over, our guest became the youngest councilor in the city of Manila in 2004. Only 26 at the time, he was already a staunch anti-corruption advocate and proudly hailed as the council's ang Batang Magaling. While our guest may have tried twice before to make it to the Senate, he never wasted a day in between to continue fighting for a clean and honest government. In fact, he is best known for being the lead petitioner in questioning the constitutionality of the pork barrel system. Gaining the trust and confidence of President Duterte, he was fittingly appointed Commissioner of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission in 2018 and then its chairman in 2021. All that brings us here on Lights, Camera, Boto today para kilalanin at kilatisin kung karapat-dapat bang ihalal bilang senador si PACC Chairman and Cabinet Secretary Greco Belgica. Lights, Camera, Boto. Good morning po, Sec Greco. How are you?
Good morning, and I'm doing fine. How about you?
Very good, thank you. I know that you've been very, very busy with the campaign. We're talking to Chairman Greco right now, and he's just arrived in Manila from the airport. Nasa airport pa po siya. Pero isisingit po niya ang interview na to para makilala niyo po siya and decide whether he is worthy of your vote come May 9.
Pick for your biopic.
Since we're coming from the entertainment and lifestyle section of the paper, kung po isa sa pelikula ho yung buhay nyo, sino sa tingin nyo yung artista na babagay in that role?
Siguro si Coco Martin.
Nax, okay.
Kung tatangkad lang siya ng konti.
Oo nga eh. Medyo kulang nga ho sa height. Tama ho kayo. You know, actually, of all of the interviews that we've had, I thought napaka-interesting to ask you about it because, you know, I don't know if the younger people who are watching us right now, kung alam nila, yung father ni Sec Greco actually had his movie already, no? His biopic out before, no? The Butch Belgica story, and I think it was Jocko Diaz who played his role. Kayo ba, nandun na kayo sa movie na yon, Sec?
Yeah, I was, pinanganak na ako noon, binata na ako. Pero when all that happened to my father, na binata pa siya.
Ay,
hanggang
okay.
Makalaya siya.
Okay. So walang little Greco doon sa pelikula, wala pang ganon.
Wala. When my father was the most notorious juvenile delinquent in the country, he was around 16 probably. 12 to 16 years old, tapos at 17, nasa Muntinlupa na siya. And he became the youngest and toughest gang leader inside. Then God made the miracle, you know. For presidential pardon, pinalaya siya. Dahil nagpakabait din naman siya, pero then got married, became a Christian, God made the miracle in his life. And then he became a pastor, then lumabas na po kami. Because it's a different side of his life. But then andito na kami ngayon, yung anak ng preso na kinulong dati for crime. Corrupt buster na ngayon ng Pangulong Duterte. So
That's true.
That's a twist of life.
There you go. And pwede rin talaga siyang gawing sequel to the movie eventually.
Kilalanin.
when you first ran for public office po and won as Manila City Councilor, ang tawag sa'yo, ang Batang Magaling. So sabi ko kanina in the introduction, we're gonna ask you, why were you given that moniker, ang Batang Magaling?
I don't know, no? It was my mayor. It was the mayor of Manila who called me that. Alalay niya po ako eh. So, kung ano kailangan gawin, yun ang ginagawa ko. Siguro napakinggan niya ako kumanta. So, sabi niya, Batang Magaling kumanta. Pero,
wow! Baka may pasample pa mamaya, Sek, ha? Sa pagkagaling mo kumanta. So, which mayor of Manila po are we talking about?
Si Mayor dito Atienza was mayor when I was young. So, alalay niya po ako. Utusan lang ba? So, I guess, nakita niya ako, I was in the States, bumalik ako, nag-aaral po ako doon, and then sa Amerika. And then I decided to come home to run for councilor. Tapos, meron siya mainuutos sa akin, ginagawa ko, kahit mahirap. And then, one time, that's what I heard people say, na yun ang tawag sa akin, yun ang pakilala sa akin ng aming mayor. Yung magaling niyang batang yan.
Siguro, if he's expecting that you have brought it with you, ngayon na ang dami-dami mo na rin ginagawa, in your position in government, no? But, of course, yung older generation nga po, di ba, we were just talking about earlier your father, no? Ang nangyari po noon, like you were saying, nag-transform siya from bad boy to pastor and naging siyang religious leader, no? When you hear about your dad's life story, ano yung kinagugulat mo, and do you think that any learnings that you've had from his life story has pushed you in the direction that you are right now?
Oh, definitely. Malaking influence sa akin ng father ko dahil idol ko ang tatay ko. Kamangha-mangha talaga yung nangyari sa buhay niya, yung mga experiences niya. Every time he talks about it, bilang pastor, natatawa pa rin ako hanggang ngayon pagka naririnig ko yung mga kwento, yung mga papilyuhan niya.
His experience nga po, when you think about what he's done, he's been given a second chance. How do you relate it then to the work that you're doing right now, the work that you have chosen to do?
Well, kasi, maraming masama sa mundo eh. And minsan, pagka yung masama, na nakakasama ka na sa iba, sa father ko kasi, it was a life of crime. Pero itong corruption, itong pang-abuso, abuso sa kapangyarihan, crime din to, pero ibang klase dahil because of power and because of greed and abuse, pinahihirapan mo yung tao. Hindi mo nga pinapatay, pero nahihirapan naman ang buhay ng mga tao, di ba? Maraming gutom, maraming walang trabaho, maraming natatakot and terrorized because of powerful people in office. Hinihirap ang bansa. And, you're talking about powerful people, hindi na mukhang mabait pero salbahe. So, ito yung mga kalaban ko naman. So, similar to my father who always had a fight, with other gangsters, I guess, I had a fight. Now, my fight is with criminals in office and corrupt people in office. So, I guess it's a higher level of fight and it's more noble in a sense dahil hindi lang para ako maging pinakasiga rito pero para wala nang siga dito, di ba? Para sa ibig sabihin may purpose, mayroong kabutihang dadalhin, hindi lang para ako maging siga rito pero para umayos, gumanda ang buhay o umasenso naman ang buhay ng mga mahihirap dahil I guess yung love para sa yung pagmamahal ko para sa ating bansa and you want your life to matter. Dito ko na po dinedicate ang buhay ko kahit delikado, kahit maraming kalaban, kahit maraming pagbabanta akong naabot, delikado pero I guess yun ang that's where I find meaning sa buhay ko naman ngayon. Na pakinabang and kahit siguro kahit mamatay ako pwedeng masaya ako dahil I'm serving my country and I'm doing it a way that many people can. So I'm really thankful to God na I have this opportunity.
Was there any particular advice that your father gave you na sa tingin mo nagagamit niyo po ngayon sa fight nyo naman ng mga criminals in offices?
Opo, tinuruan ako ng papa ko maging matapang eh. Nakita ko talaga pinakita niya talaga sa akin, at tinuruan niya talaga ako na maging matapang. So in many ways, tinuro niya sa akin to be courageous because I also learned from him yung faith, yung manampalataya at manampalataya. So I guess doon ko binubunot yung lakas ng loob ko eh. Na pag alam ko tama, hindi mahalaga sa akin, which is really true. Yung material sa akin kung sino ang kalaban ko at kaharap ko, gaano siya kalakas, kapangyarihan, gaano siya kasiga, wala sa akin yan. Pag nasa tama ako, talagang we will square it off if you want. You know, so and I will, hindi lang yung ginagawa ko yun dahil gusto kong gawin, pero ginagawa ko yun dahil tama. You know, so I guess without me saying it, kahit buhay ko, itataya ako doon. Tataya ako sa ginagawa ko, tataya ako sa pangalan ko. Pero hindi para mang-api ng tao, pero para ipagtanggol yung mga inaapi.
Well, it really makes a big difference nga po pag sinabi nyo na it's also rooted in your faith, di ba? Parang syempre ang gusto ng Diyos, mabuti tayo sa isa't isa at maging patas naman at magkaroon ng oportunidad ang lahat na pare-pareho. Ano? But further going po into to who Greco Belgica is, our research showed po na actually niyo raw po athletic. Actually parang ang mukha, itsura niyo nga po para kayo nga magre-represent ng Pilipinas talaga. In ano, I don't know, basketball, I don't know what your sport is. Tapos you took up marketing and management at the San Beda University, and then your masteral course sa UC Berkeley naman in international trade and commerce. I'm running through your educational background because I'd like to ask you, before that time na nasama kayo kay Mayor Atienza, did you ever think of being anything else than being in government or helping out in government?
Well, I guess my dream business is to be a developer. I like building homes and building towns, making life nice for families. Yung gano'n ba? Then probably develop subdivision. Yung mga dream businesses ko. And when I was younger, when I was in politics, yung pong ginagawa ko. Of course, hobbies ko are sports. I love sports. I play all kinds of sports. I try to be athletic as much as I can. Yun, parang ayaw tumanda ba? Yung ganon. So, always wants to beat the 20-year-old me.
Yeah.
So, probably I'll be, after, if I will have time, probably after my career in politics, siguro magso-showbiz na ako. Hindi, pero lang.
Nasa tamang programa kayo doon, Seth, para ano natin yan. Kailan po dumating yung calling, let's call it that, yung calling na maggobyerno kayo or mag-public service?
I was very young, 12 years old data, nakita ko papa ko kumandidato for councilor. Napilitan. Nawala, umatras yung isang kandidato. Napakiusapan siya mag-host ng focus. Pastor ang tatay ko. Mas magaling pa magsalita rin sa kandidato. Tapos one day, umatras yung kandidato. Isang kandidato konsehal umatras. So napakiusapan siya ng congressman namin na siya na lang ang tumakbo dahil sikat siya sa Maynila. So wala namang ginagawa si Papa noon. So kumandidato, nanalo. Doon ko nakita na pagka nasa government service ka pala kako, para kang pastor ang father ko, para ka kakong pastor, pinakikinggan ka rin ng tao. Para ka rin kakong siga at pulis dahil kinatatakutan ka ng masasamang tao. Kasi gusto ko noon maging pulis eh. Una gusto ko maging siga, tapos tinapos ng tatay ko yung career ko sa siga, pagiging siga. Tapos sabi niya gano'n, pag nagsiga-siga kayo rito, babariling ko na lang kayo sa tuhod dahil mas gusto ko mag-alaga ng lumpo kaysa loko. So doon natapos ang pagiging siga career ko, sabi ko magpupulis na lang ako. Sabi ko para rin palang pulis, para rin siga, para rin akong businessman dahil maayos naman ang buhay. So sabi ko, ito na ang gusto kong maging buhay dahil mayroon ka pala ritong kakayanan na baguhin ang buhay ng pamayanan at maging significant at relevant sa bansa or sa iyong komunidad. So, yun, I guess from there on forward, hinanda ko na lang po ang sarili ko sa public service. I started reading the books about the government service, biblical laws and civil government, biblical economics. I started reading those and just waited for for the right time and the right age, and I went for it.
Nakasulat din po sa CV niyo, you're actually taking up law, am I right?
Yeah, I started law. I wasn't able to finish it when I was already Councilor of Manila. Ang natapos ko po just recently is my Master's in National Security Administration. So, which is very relevant to where I am right now. So, yan po.
Eventually, ang nag-zoom in po kayo dito nga ho sa anti-corruption advocacy ninyo. Earlier, you were telling us na medyo delikado rin ang position nyo kasi you're going up against the powerful. How exactly po do you get to uncover anomalies in government via the PACC?
Exactly. Kung paano niya papanood sa pelikula, medyo ganun, mas grabe lang. Dahil ito talaga, totoohan. Magsisimula yan sa mga sumbong, may nagsusumbong sa amin. And then we start digging into the report. Tapos po until it goes out and ends up to may naaresto kami, meron kaming nilusob, or meron kaming re-raidin, meron kaming i-entrap, meron kaming dadamputin. So, ganun po. Yun ang proseso nun. And 24 po ang aking naipakulong, nadampot personally. I had more than investigation, which is my office's function, and reporting to the President. Talagang pinakita ko sa tao. Dinadampot ko talaga yung mga tao. And kinukulong ko talaga. At pinakikita ko sa media. And to put fear in the hearts of evil men and corrupt government officials na merong hangganan at meron na silang katapat ngayon dahil nandito na ako eh. And sabi ko nga, nasa posisyon ako, habang nandito ako, wag. Pag wala na ako, bala na kayo sa buhay niyo. Pero habang nandito ako, you do what you do and you don't stop what you're not supposed to do. At inabot ko kayo, may paglalagyan talaga kayo. And I did just that. The biggest recorded raid by the Bureau of Customs na successful and recovered was led by me. So mga 300 po kami noon, mga police. Sinama ko po yun. This is already outside my job. Dapat sila na lang. Pero ayoko kasi masabi ng mga tao ko na nag-uutos ako ng mga bagay na hindi ko kayang gawin. So, pinakita ko sa kanila na walang makakapagdahilan sa inyo sa akin. Dahil kung hindi nyo gagawin yan, ako gagawa niyan. So, yun po, ginawa ko yan sa raid. Ini-raid namin yung mga warehouse dyan sa Divisoria, 250 warehouses at sabay-sabay namin sinara. Wala akong nakapalag doon, meron kayong mga dinampot. Minsan, at gunpoint, dinisarmahan namin mga 12 security. Dinisarmahan namin, dinampot namin yung aming mga suspects. So, 24 yung gano'n na ginawa namin.
May time ba set na talagang nalagay kayo sa alanganin? And when you think back to that, I mean, you're a father also with 5 children, di ba? Am I correct? How did you feel nung na-realize mo na pwedeng may nangyari pala sa'yo?
Well, laging lagi naman yon every time that happens. Kasi syempre, minsan, there were times nababantaan ako na papunta pa lang ako rin sa operations namin, nababantaan ako na kasi mo sa kanya, pag pumunta siya rito, papatayin namin siya. Yung mga ganun eh. And there were many times nagkaganon. I never allowed those threats to stop me from what I'm doing. So, ginawa ko pa rin kahit sinabi nila sa akin yun. And then I caught them by surprise, di ba po? So, wala naman sila mga nagawa. In fact, sila pa nadampot ko, sila pa nakakasuhan ko. So, I guess, wala pa naman akong kinatatakutan ngayon sa mga nagawa ko. Although syempre, I guess wala eh. Yun, kung I know na binigay ko na buhay ko sa Panginoon Diyos, at dinedicate ko na sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa Kanya. And if He plans to take my life, and then it's for Him, it's His na naman. So, wala na ako dapat katapat. And many times I saw Him, many times did death knock on my doorsteps. No? Pero niligtas ako ng Diyos sa kapahamakan. Kaya hindi na ako natatakot sa mga ganong bagay na mangyayari sa akin. Kung mangyayari yun, oras ko na talaga.
I know that you also tried to make it to the Senate in 2016, am I correct? In 2013, ano? But with only 12 slots lang po kasi talaga every election, yung younger candidates minsan, di ba, parang hindi talaga nagkakaroon ng chance na makapasok. But after all that you've done, marami na naman po kayong nagawa, you know, as a PACC chairman and commissioner, and then before you were also in Manila as councilor. Didn't you ever think of running for a different position? Kasi ang tanong ko, ultimately doon, why does it have to be the Senate? But before you answer that, let's take a short break to shine the spotlight on Greco Belgica's all-important pledge to country in personalidad na plataporma pa.
Personalidad na plataporma pa.
Ako po si Greco Belgica, naging pinuno at pinakabatang kalihim ng Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission o PACC. Sa loob po ng 3 taon lamang, 154 na kaso ang isinampa namin sa Ombudsman at DOJ. 800 na opisyal ng gobyerno ang aming tinanggal sa pwesto ng Pangulong Duterte, 24 na opisyal ng gobyerno ang aming ipinakulong at 13,000 kaso ng korupsyon ang aming inaksyonan. Dahil sa mga exposés namin na nahuli at naipakulong ng mga korap na opisyal, tumaas ang koleksyon ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno dahil nabawasan ang korupsyon. Umayo sa mga sistema at dumami ang trabaho at benepisyo na natanggap ng tao sa gobyerno. Para sa mga ayuda, build projects, airports, seaports, at mga kalsada at gusali, at pondo para sa mga malasakit centers. Diyan ko na po itinalaga ang aking buhay, ang paglingkuran, ang Diyos at ang ating bayan. Kung pahihintulutan po ng Diyos at ng Pilipino na ako po ay maglingkod sa inyo bilang senador ngayong 2022, ipagpapatuloy ko po ang kampanya ng Pangulong Duterte sa korupsyon, droga at krimen sa Senado. Palalakasin ko po ang mga batas laban sa korupsyon para ang mga korap na nakakasuhan tuluyang nakukulong. Pabibilisin ko po ang proseso ng investigasyon at prosecution sa pag-hire ng mas maraming judges at prosecutor para mas mabilis natatapos ang mga kasong isinasampa laban sa korap. Gagawin ko pong mas transparent ang mga bank accounts ng mga korap na opisyal at ang kanilang mga transaksyon sinusulat at tinitext. Itatatag ko po ang anti-corruption at anti-red tape police para palakasin at maging agresibo ang pamahalaan. Ipatupad ang mga anti-corruption at anti-red tape laws ng bansa. Lalabanan ko po ang korupsyon at red tape at babantayan ng mga kontrata ay napapatupad at ang mga magnanakaw ay nahuhuli at nakukulong. At kung ako po ay magiging senador, ipaglalaban ko pong ibalik ang parusang kamatayan sa karumal-dumal na krimen at korupsyon. Ito po ang susi para pumasok ang investments at dumami ang trabaho at oportunidad sa Pilipinas. Ako po si Greco Belgica, ang panlaban ninyo sa mandaraya, manloloko at magnanakaw sa gobyerno doon sa Senado.
The Manila Times. Lights, camera, Boto, the chat show edition. Kilatisin.
We're back on Lights, Camera, Boto at bago natin kilatisin ang mga plano ni Secretary Greco Belgica kapag siya ay naging senador, let's return to our hanging question. He has tried before to run for the Senate. He was not too lucky in the first 2 times that he tried. Why does it have to be the Senate?
You know, I ran for advocacy the first 2 times. I was almost independent. I just ran for advocacy. And I was ready to retire from government service. I said, I've done a lot. Diba? So sabi ko siguro I'll start building up, in private life, diba? Start building up my career, go back to ministry and put up my businesses and have, fun times. And then, siguro this is what opened up to me because 6 months ago, I was dying on my sick bed. I had COVID and it was critical. I almost died. It was a miracle that I survived. And then 18 days into my recovery from COVID, I was inside my room dun sa hospital. Nakatingin lang po ako sa bintana dahil pinagmamasdan ko lang the whole day. Tinitingnan ko lang yung malalaking puno dun sa bintana ko dahil puro pader po yun nandun sa kwarto ko sa hospital and yun lang ang nakakapagpagaan ng damdamin ko nung nandun may COVID po ako. And then my phone rang. And then it was Senator Bongo, it's like my brother. Senator Bongo is like my brother, my partner sa anti-corruption campaign at sa serbisyo sa bayan. Kaming dalawa talaga ang utusan ng Pangulong Duterte pagdating sa laban kontra korupsyon at serbisyo. So, my phone rang, it was Senator Bong. And then sabi sa akin, pare, kamusta ka? Sabi ko, okay naman ako bro. Sabi ko, mukha namang mabubuhay daw ako. Sabi ng doktor. Sabi niya, ba? Sige, palakas ka. Kasi bukas i-endorso ka namin para kumandidato para senador. So that's where it started. So bukas nga, pag tingin ko nung Zoom, may link na pinadala sa akin, binuksan ko, nakita ko na ang Pangulo, tapos narinig ko na ang pangalan ko ina-announce as one of the senatorial candidates. And it was, sabi nga, ikaw pa rin mag-decide. And I guess, yun na nag-open sa akin. It's very challenging. It's not an ambition for me. It's a mission, I guess. Especially ngayon, sino magpapatuloy, it's that part of me na tinatanong lagi ang sarili ko na sinong gagawa niyan, sinong papatuloy niyan, paano yung mga sinimulan niyo, paano yung mga tao na hirapan. And I guess if I make it, people will, siguro nakatatak na sa akin yun eh. Alam na ng tao kung anong gagawin ko dahil sinasabi ko naman talaga na pag nanalo ako, talagang lalabanan ko to the hilt ang korupsyon. At pag ako binoto nyo, yan ang gagawin ko. So walang sisihan. At kung hindi naman po ako manalo, siguro, edi yan ang gusto ng Diyos. And, I'm 44 years old and I've dedicated more than half of my life to this. I guess, I got here where I am today. Medyo malayo-layo na rin po itong nadating ko. Ako na ang pinakabatang cabinet member, pinakabatang cabinet secretary ng PACC at yung mga na-accomplish po namin ay unprecedented. So, I guess, paghuhusayin ko na lang po siguro ito sa abot ng aking mga kaya dahil hindi naman ako kagalingan sa ibang bagay. Dito lang siguro, kaya dito ko na paghuhusayin.
Po, napaka-humble nyo naman po, Seth. But I'd like to ask you nga, sa ngayon po, how corrupt is government? Ano po ba ang estado ng gobyerno natin ngayon? Marami pa po ba talaga na tayong kailangang labanan ng mga gangsters in office?
Opo, corruption is embedded in our system. Ang dami hong corrupt sa gobyerno kasi maraming opportunity at matatagal na ang tao dyan. So, kumbaga ingrained na. No? At ang diferensya kasi sa panahon ni Pangulong Duterte, natakot lahat eh. Natakot lahat mahuli ng Pangulo, natakot lahat mahuli ng PACC sa korupsyon. At dahil po sa takot na yan, nabawasan to the barest minimum ang korupsyon. Kaya ang effect niyan, ito nakita nyo, build, ang dami-dami natapos, nawala ang ghost project, hindi na zero, tumaas ang revenue dahil sa anti-corruption campaign ng Pangulo na pinatupad ko po, tumaas ang revenue ng BIR, BID, o Bureau of Immigrations, ng BOC, and corruption became a highlight of the President's administration. Fighting corruption had become a highlight of the President's term in office. So, ang sitwasyon ngayon is that nag-aabang ang lahat ng tao na pag wala na si Pangulong Duterte at mahinang klase ang nanalo, pag nawala ang takot sa mga yan na sila ay mahuhuli, magukulong, matatanggal, may expose, balikan po lahat yan. Droga, kriminalidad, korupsyon, balikan po lahat yan. Asahan nyo, maghihirap ang ating bayan. And ganyan po kahirap ang korupsyon. And then ang struktura, ang batas, napakahina. Siguro walang government official ang merong sing dami, sing lalim ng experience ko sa pagpapatupad ng anti-corruption law. Dahil people talk about it, but I implemented it for the last 3 years. So I know its weakness. You know, ang dami ko nakakalaban dyan. May kinakasuhan pa ako dyan for doing what I know I should do dahil walang batas. Walang batas na nagbibigay sa akin ng kapangyarihan. Gawin yung kailangan kong gawin. Pero pag hindi ko ginawa, walang mangyayari. So ginawa ko in the threat of cases being filed against me. But I took it in, I bit the bullet, and I'm here where I am now. So
that's exactly the question that I was going to ask po, because ang sabi nga ho nila, basta raw pumasok ang isang tao sa gobyerno natin, hindi raw maiiwasan na maging corrupt. Do you agree with that? Or sa tingin niyo po ba, if you do make it to the Senate, there are laws that you can also add on to what is available now para hindi naman tayo mauwi sa dating gawin?
Definitely po. Example po. Ang anti-corruption law natin sa Pilipinas is probably the weakest or one of the weakest in the world. Dahil very passive. The best that you have here is investigating offices like the PACC and the Ombudsman. Kaya hindi ka talaga pagka gumawa ka ng corruption dito, the best that will happen to you, maimbestigahan ka at makakusuhan ka. Hindi ka mapaparusahan. Halos 99% hindi ka mapaparusahan. Maimbestigahan ka, ma-expose ka, baka, pero malamang hindi rin. Yun na po, that's the best that we have here. Now, you don't run a campaign like that. Pag sinabi mong anti-drug war, meron kang PDEA, meron kang police, meron kang structure, meron kang ADAC, BADAC, ADBOR, DBB, may PDEA ka, may effective ang campaign. Pag sinabi mong war on crime, meron kang police organized from the national down to the precinct level, ng munisipyo, kompleto ka, tapos matibay ang batas mo. Pag sinabi mong war on terror, meron kang NTF-LCAC, meron kang sundalo, organized from the national level, regional, down to the barangay. Yan ang war, yan ang campaign. Pag sinabi mong anti-corruption campaign, wala kang struktura, wala kang anti-corruption council sa local government, sa barangay, sa regional, wala kang anti-corruption police. All you have is a national office like the Office of the Ombudsman and the PACC with limited powers and limited strength and money to implement a national campaign. Dapat meron ka talagang PACC hanggang sa mga barangay. Tapos meron kang law enforcement group na nagpapatupad ng batas. Pangalawa, dapat malakas ang justice system mo. Yung pag kinasuhan mo ang tao at corrupt, talagang nakukulong. We have a very weak justice system. Dito minsan pag kinasuhan mo, swerte ka na kung matapos yung kaso mo. Kaya meron minsan dito, nakasuhan mo na, patay na yung kinasuhan mo, buhay pa yung kaso. Sa haba, wala napaparusahan, hindi tumitigil. So we need to strengthen our justice system. And I'll do that in the Senate. Kasi yung pinatanggal ko pong pork barrel, yung pinat, na 24 billion pesos a year, yung binibigay dati sa congressional or sa legislative body, ilalagay ko na ngayon sa justice system so that the courts can hire more judges, build more courts, and government can hire more prosecutors and investigators to commensurate to the cases filed within their jurisdiction. Dahil dito ang problema, tambakan ng kaso sa mga korte dahil po konti ang korte. Imagine 2,500 lang po ang korte natin all over the Philippines. 7,100 islands tayo, 110 million Filipinos tayo, 42,000 barangays, 1,600 municipalities and city. Ang dami pong tao, 110 million na tao, 2,500 courts and judges mo. So kaya nagtatambak po ang kaso. Dahil araw-araw may krimen eh. People have been talking about the weak justice system, but no one is really investing in the justice system. I will invest in the justice system dahil pagka secure mo ang justice system, pag napaparusahan na po ang mga corrupt, dyan na po magsisimula umasenso ang ating bansa dahil matututo na matakot ang mga tao gumawa ng krimen at korupsyon. So yan po ang i-establish ko sa Senado.
Tek, before po nung turn ng batch ninyo dun po sa SMNI, Manila Times, live senatorial debates, I'm sure alam niyo po yung nangyari between candidates and lawyers Larry Gadon and Luke Espiritu. Earlier this month, nasabi niyo rin po pala sa isang crowd in the north that your father and his family owe your life to former President Marcos who pardoned your dad so he could marry and raise a family. Given your platform po of anti-corruption in government and keeping in mind yung mga naging palitan po ng mga fellow candidates po ninyo doon sa debate nung isang araw, sa tingin niyo po ba meron pong conflict ang pagsuporta sa isang Bongbong Marcos kapag ang ipinaglalaban niyo pong advokasya ay anti-corruption?
Well, I am the president of the PDDS, ang partido namin ni Pangulong Duterte. The president has not given his support to any presidential candidate, number one. So, I cannot officially say that I'm supporting any presidential candidate. However, hindi natin pwedeng isisi yung kasalanan ng ama sa anak. Gaya rin ng tatay ko. Yung mga napatay ng tatay ko, na-aksidente ng tatay ko, hindi pwedeng iparusa sa akin yun dahil hindi akong gumawa ng krimen. Now, I think si Bongbong, si Senator Marcos, is a completely different person from his father. He has the wisdom of his father in governance, but the cases that has been filed or stories about his father, negative stories about his father, it's not his fault. He has nothing to do with it. He shouldn't be held liable for it or shouldn't be accused about it. And if he wins as president, I will support him. He's my friend. And if he doesn't win as president, I will still be his friend. Supporting him. So I guess yung conflict po, wala namang corruption issue si BBM. I'm a friend. Kaibigan ko siya. And kahit na sino hong manalo, ang mahalaga sa akin yung serbisyo sa tao. Dahil kung mananalo po ako po ay magiging senador ng taong bayan, hindi po ako magiging senador ng mga kaibigan ko, ng mga politiko. Ang paglilingkuran ko taong bayan, magkaibigan tayo, oo, pero pag pumasok ka sa korupsyon, maghihiwalay tayo. Yan po ang amin naging pamantayan ng Pangulong Duterte at ni Senator Bongo. Yan po ang standard ko sa aking public service. I'm a friend to everyone. Pero when you get into corruption, maghihiwalay tayo. So, yun din po. I guess yung fake news naman yan na sinasabi niyong corrupt si BBM, asan ang kaso? Sampan niyo yung kaso, patunayan. So, I guess parehas kaming victim ng fake news. So, what can I do?
Balik ko lang po doon sa debate na yon, na heated debate nga ng ating mga kandidatong kaibigan. I think also na-touch po doon ni Attorney Gadon yung sa mga kaparian. I think he was saying na that church and state, in other words, should be separate. Parang dapat hindi naghahalo yon. But I'm asking you po, your father is a pastor. I know you also are, di ba po? And your faith talaga po is very, very strong. What's your take on that?
First of all, ang gobyerno ng simbahan is a government also.
True, yes.
Okay? It has leaders, it has laws, and it collects tithes or taxes. Similar to civil government, it has leaders, it has laws. It implements its laws, and it collects taxes. So, both are governments, separate governments, but both under God. Ang point po dyan, na pag pwede mo talagang magkahiwalay ang gobyerno ng simbahan at gobyerno ng tao, pero parehong nasa ilalim ng Diyos. Or maihiwalay mo ang mahihiwalay mo ang ang simbahan sa gobyerno, pero hindi mo pwedeng ihiwalay ang Diyos sa tao. Yun po ang number 1 dyan. So, number 2 po, yung atin, lahat po tayo, kung ano man ang relihiyon mo, meron kang pananampalataya or wala. Kung meron kang relihiyon o wala, meron kang pananampalataya. Dahil yung pamumuhay mo ng paniniwala mo ay pananampalataya. So kung naniniwala ka sa Diyos o hindi ka naniniwala sa Diyos, parehong pananampalataya po yan. At kung saan ka naniniwala at nananampalataya, yun din po ang ipinamumuhay mo at ipatutupad mo sa iyong buhay at sa iyong tungkulin or sa iyong panunungkulan. Ibig sabihin, ako bilang isang Kristiyano, ang ipinatutupad ko ay mga batas ng Kristiyano. So meaning, ako, itong faith ko, itong paniniwala ko, kaya ganito ako mamuhay at ganito ako magpalakad ng aking karera at ng aking buhay. So yung mga hindi ho naniniwala sa Diyos at sinasabihan tayo na wag mong isali ang pananampalataya mo sa gobyerno ay expression ng kanilang pananampalataya sa kanilang
Iniwala nila
pamumuhay.
yon. Oo, parang yun ang
Oo.
take nila doon. Okay, I
Yes.
understood and it does make sense, no, Sec. Marami kaming natutunan from what you explained to us today, no. Sec, if there is anything po that probably we haven't touched on in this interview so far that you think people should know para kayo po ay iboto nila, ano ho sa tingin niyo yung gusto niyong sabihin sa kanila?
Number 1, 64 po ang kandidato para senador ngayon. May kanya-kanya pong galing yan. Magagaling po lahat yan. Yun ang gusto kong sabihin. At pakinggan po ninyo lahat kami. Pero, pakiusap ko lang, suriin nyo rin po ang aming nakaraan at ang aming mga nagawa na. Dahil yung amin pong sasabihin, hindi nyo po alam kung magagawa talaga namin yun, yung aming sasabihin. Pero yung aming nagawa na, yun lang po ang pwede nyong panghawakan kung sino talaga kami. Yun po ang isa. Una kong gusto sabihin. Pangalawa po, sa ating katayuan ngayon na magpapalit tayo ng gobyerno, we are at a crossroads. Saan ba natin dadalhin ang ating bansa? Pagpapatuloy ba natin ang lahat ng ginawa ni Pangulong Duterte or babaguhin natin altogether? Yan po ay masasagot ng mga kandidatong inyo pong iluluklok sa pwesto. So ngayon, what we are facing is napakarami hong kandidato ngayon na sikat pero corrupt. Pangalawa, ang Pilipino po or marami pong Pilipino ang bumoboto ng sikat kahit corrupt. Pangatlo, dahil po dyan, marami pong mananalong corrupt ngayon. And we cannot afford that. Kung gusto po ng Pilipino na merong panlaban sa corrupt, ako po yun. Because when I say pakukulong ko yan, paimbestigahan ko yan, i-expose ko yan, kakasuhan ko yan, at lalabanan ko yan, hindi ko ito pinapangako o pinapangarap. Ito po ay ginawa ko ng paulit-ulit kahit pakapalit at nakasugal ang ating buhay. Ipagpapatuloy ko lang po yan sa pamahalaan kung if God allows and the Filipino allows, itutuloy ko lang po yan at palalakasin ko lang po yan dahil diyan ko na po i-dedicate ang buhay kong, pangalawang buhay ko po. Yun lamang po ang gusto kong ipag-serbisyo sa tao.
And it's true po, no? I mean, people can say, we can all say na siguro ang problema natin naman talaga sa kahirapan, ang, the root of it all, korupsyon, dahil hindi nabibigyan yung tamang social services, hindi tayo nabibigyan ng pagkakataon na magpagamot, hindi lahat ng tao pare-pareho ang opportunities nila, diba? So, we do believe na yan po ay napaka-importanting advocacy, Sec, no? Pero maybe as a last question ho, no, you're a husband to a beautiful woman named Nina, am I correct? And then you have 5 young children. How much naman po is this run for the Senate, for their future, and yung ka-generation po ng mga anak niyo?
I am happy to have had the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Dahil nakatala na sa records ang akin pong mga nagawa. At sa darating na mga dekada na pag ako tumanda, nakikita ko na mga anak ko, 4 na lalaki, 1 babaeng anak ko. Meron ng tutularan, meron na akong ikikwento, meron na akong pakikita na anak, nung panahon ko ito ang ginawa ko. Sa panahon nyo, ganyan din ang gawan nyo. Kikita nyo pa. So, I am a little bit more confident now that even if my political journey in government service ends here, the next generation will have a new set of fighters with my children and probably the young people who knew me or who will know me, who has read about me and who has seen what I've done, para ma-inspire din sila na maging tagapagtanggol din sila ng kanilang henerasyon pag panahon na po nila. So yan po ang gusto kong ipagpatuloy, whether in and out of office na advokasya, to inspire more heroes in our country. Paglingkuran ng bayan talaga.
Sana kung magtuloy kayo sa Senado, you never know, baka ang iwan nyo na rin pong future naman talaga sa ating mga next generation ay isang mas malinis at mas maayos na gobyerno. We thank you for joining us today despite your very, very busy schedule, Secretary Greco Belgica, and we wish you luck sa darating po na election.
Salamat, ma'am. Thank you for having me. God bless everyone.
Nakilala at nakilatis na natin si PACC Secretary Greco Belgica, who is running for the Senate. Ang personalidad niya at plataporma pa. Empowered by this episode of Lights, Camera, Boto, the choice is yours to make, mga ka-voters. In the meantime, please make sure to get a copy of the Sunday Times magazine today to find out more about the 40-something anti-corruption czar and his determined aspiration to bring his fight to the Senate. I would like to personally thank architect Nikki Romero and Mr. J.B. Reyes for making this one-on-one interview with the senatorial candidate possible. Of course, I'd like to thank my Lights, Camera, Boto team led by our director and video editor Neil Reyes, my girls Christina and Isa, and LCB project manager Shirley Pizarro for their continued hard work. All that we do is for you, mga ka-voters. This is Tessa Mauricio Ariola, and see you next Sunday for the Manila Times Lights, Camera, Boto, the Chat Show edition, where entertainment leads to empowerment. Hi mga ka-voters! If you haven't yet, do subscribe to the Manila Times YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Manila Times and at TMT-CSI. You may also log on to www.manilatimes.net to watch Lights, Camera, Boto.